Hello everybody and welcome into OGP. I'm Michael and I'm joined once again by Jordan. Hi Jordan.
Hello.
It's been just a little bit, but we're back now for a full-length episode and we're going to kick it off as usual with what we've been playing. I'm going to start because Jordan's part of this will be a little bit more involved than normal.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a second. What have I been playing? Well, for starters, I've been getting into Mario vs. Donkey Kong a little bit, which that's an interesting case because it's a sequel to one of my favorite games ever. I think Mario vs. Donkey Kong, it's good, but it's kind of bloated. The original game, the goal is you get the key and you open the door, and that's the level. But this one, you get the key, you open the door, that leads you to another level, and then after you do that, then there's this part where you collect all the different little mini guys, and it's just a little bit too much. The original game is so much snappier, and I really appreciate that about it. This one, it looks nicer, but weirdly enough, I feel like it's less fluid, and it's just a little bit more bogged down in things, so.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm not loving it, but I do hope to get through it. And then the other thing that's been taking up most of my time is Pikmin 3 challenge mode. I ran out of Pikmin stuff to do, so I'm like, okay, I'll go back and I'll 100% the challenge mode on Pikmin 3. Damn. That game can get absolutely brutal on some of the, especially when you're chasing the platinum medals like I am. It's really hard. I just now unlocked what was the DLC courses from the Wii U version.
Right.
And I'm excited to play those because it looks like they're totally brand new environments that they crafted. There's like a Christmas-themed level that I'm going to get into here shortly. Super difficult, especially compared to Pikmin 4. Like, I thought getting some of the platinums on those levels was, fairly challenging.
Right.
But, man, some of these are just... you wonder how it's even possible for a while.
Right.
Those are my two main things. It's mostly Pikmin 3, to be honest. But, Jordan, have you completed it at this point? The list?
So, this is, I've only told one other person, actually. I did just finally order the last game that I need for the list.
The list, everybody. Let me briefly explain what we're talking about here. So, about 10 years ago, I think it'll be
11 this December.
Yep. Nintendo Power published their final issue, issue 285, and in that, they printed their top 285 games released on Nintendo platforms.
Yeah, from 85 to 2012, so the final year of its publication.
Yep. And you undertook the insane challenge.
Very daunting task.
Yeah, of getting all 285 games.
Like, officially, anyways.
Yeah. So, that's wild.
Yes.
I've watched this journey literally over a decade, and it's a little weird, actually, for it to finally be complete.
Yeah, probably sometime next week when the last one comes in. For this one, it's the only one that I kind of broke my own rule for.
Right.
Because I wanted to get all of them within the US/North American region, basically. This one, however, the last one I needed was the Etrian Odyssey 3. Which the original DS version, I think it's like 120 something, complete in box. But they did a re-release on the Switch for the first 3 games. However, that's digital only in the US, and I think it's just Asia release for physical release.
But it's one of those where the English version is on the cart, right?
Yeah. Same thing with the Phoenix Wright collection that I have on the Switch as well, where you literally put that in, it boots right into the actual full English version.
Isn't your plan now because you have some of these digitally, isn't it, to go full physical next?
Yeah, well, as much as I can. There's 2/3 kind of that are impossible for physical.
Oh, is it VVVVV? Is that one of them?
Yep, that's one of them.
I noticed that was on the list.
Yep, the second one is Mega Man 9, technically.
Oh, right, because Legacy Collection 2 is digital only, right?
Yeah, I think it is physical on PS4.
Oh,
but
you need to have it on a Nintendo
system, yeah. And then the last one is kind of a weird, it is physical, but not in the US.
Okay.
Sin and Punishment.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because it's Japanese only, and the reason why it's on the list is because it was on the Wii Virtual Console.
Right.
And then moved on to the Wii U Virtual Console, but...
So, yeah, I mean, I was looking through it. It's a very interesting list. The way it's structured is a little bit funny. I kind of wanted to... you can talk about some of the games that you've been playing from it, too, but I just wanted to mention a few odd placements that I noticed.
Probably, there are some kind of weird placements in it.
For starters, Wii Sports Resort beat out Pokemon Red and Blue, Wario Land 3, New Super Mario Bros., and shockingly, DKC.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Country did not place very high. I was sort of surprised.
Yeah, there's a lot of really weird placements.
Well, I mean, the especially weird one is the next one. Beating out all those, plus Sunshine, Smash Brothers Brawl, Earthbound, and Paper Mario, we have WWF No Mercy.
Yeah, there's
at the 75th best game released on Nintendo consoles.
Yeah, there's 2 WWE games on here, and
I saw that.
A little weird. I'm like, one that I'm always still kind of surprised about is like just how highly Mario 3D Land placed.
Yes, yeah, it's like 18 or something.
It's 18, yeah. Which
like absolutely ridiculous. Honestly,
like I mean, it's a good game, but I don't think it's anywhere near that good.
Oh no, not better than Sunshine.
Yeah,
and 64 I think got like 14th, so only 4 games separating 64 and 3D Land. It's a little absurd.
I mean, the top ones are all, I'd say, pretty good places.
They make sense, yeah. I think Ocarina of Time came in at number 1, which is kind of obligatory.
Yeah, Mike, that did not surprise me whatsoever.
Link to the Past is in the top 3, I believe.
I think so. Yeah, it's number 2, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and then Galaxy's number 3.
Which I think at that time, Galaxy was thought of as like the best 3D Mario.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that, but that's
right.
That was the zeitgeist of the time.
Yeah.
I saw that Tetris DS came in at 61. And only 8 places later, Tetris for Game Boy at 53, which I think is a pretty bonkers choice. I don't know what all went into them deciding where things are placed. If it's like historical importance might have played a role, because Tetris Game Boy is not better than Tetris DS. Tetris DS is one of the best versions of Tetris released.
I think they just kind of like had like the entire staff talk about like, or like kind of bring up games and like depending on like probably like internal voting, maybe.
Maybe. I saw Skyward Sword came in at 11.
Yes, I know a lot of people. Also, that literally came out like the year before, so it probably was still like pretty high.
Wow, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird to think.
Yeah. I'm like, you have to consider like the time like when this was released.
This issue was like the launch of the Wii U issue as well.
It literally, it had like, it has all the reviews for Wii U games.
Speaking of those reviews real quickly, I think it's really interesting. I remember noticing this back in the day when I was reading Nintendo Power, is that like, for the most part, games would get between a 7 and a 9. Like, they generally didn't rate games too low. However, they did give a game a 3.5 in this issue.
Oh, which one was it? Oh, yeah, I see it now.
Tank, which, if you look at the back of the back cover, it's the game they're advertising on the back.
Which I think is hilarious.
One of the lowest scores I've ever seen from Nintendo Power, and it's the one they're advertising.
And, like, I think that game ended up going, like, free to play.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. Maybe it was this review that inspired it.
No, I think it was like a few years later they went free to play because like no one was buying the thing.
The Oracle games didn't score too high compared to the rest.
It was. Where were they?
They're 110 and 109. With Ages losing out to Seasons, which is another tragedy. Ages is a far better game in my opinion. But
I mean, I guess in a way it kind of makes sense that they're like right next to each other though.
I don't think they're even vaguely comparable. I mean, they use the same engine, but at that point, why don't you just stick like Link's Awakening next to them, because that one is broadly the same.
Yeah, that's also true.
Donkey Kong, we talked about Donkey Kong earlier. That came in at number 100, which I think is underrating it quite a bit. But is what it is.
Yeah.
What have you been playing from? I know recently you picked up a lot of the real expensive ones. You got Ninja 5.0, which is infamously pricey Game Boy Advance game. Space Megaforce for Super Nintendo.
That's a pretty pricey one. And then you were there when I picked up Bait and Kaitos.
And and you also, I think... Wait, no, that wasn't the time you picked up Earthbound.
No, it was a separate one.
But Bait and Kaitos for GameCube. Have you been playing any of these? What are your opinions?
I haven't played any of them much recently. I mean, I played it through Earthbound before, obviously. Space Megaforce, I played a little bit before, but it's like another one of the Konami shmups. I'm not like a huge fan of shoot 'em ups in general, really. Yeah. I do plan on starting Bait and Kaitos soon, but I haven't yet. But some of the ones from my list that I've been playing is I recently finished through both Resident Evil Dark Side Chronicles, which is a pretty fun like gun game basically.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it retells its what is it? I think it's 2 and Code Veronica.
Is it a Wii Zapper title?
It is, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Pretty much. I think it actually works better without the Zapper, actually.
Bullshit, man. The Zapper is so cool.
Well, the reason being is because if you use with the nunchuck, the nunchuck is how you reload. And you have to shake the nunchuck to reload it. And so if you put it in the Zapper, you have to hold on to or you have to hold on to the where the trigger's at and shake the back of it. It's very unwieldy.
That's fair.
And then I also, actually, just a couple days ago, I finished up the Wii version of A Boy and His Blob.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty fun.
Has that gotten re-released on anything?
Yeah, it's on Switch as well, actually.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. One of the ones on my list I actually ended up dropping being Sin and Punishment Star Successor. Because,
Okay.
I like the idea of it. It's just a little too difficult. And it's like, so certain areas where, like, it just kept getting repetitive. Or, like, I kept trying to do different things and I just couldn't get through it. So I'm like, whatever, I'll kind of drop it for now.
You know, I played the N64 one a little bit when it launched on NSO, and I know it's a favorite, but I just don't really gel with Sin and Punishment,
fair.
honestly.
I say I do have a bit of a sub goal now that I'm basically finished with the list.
Okay.
Is I'm gonna be trying to get it, like I said, pretty much all of them physically, as well as probably starting sometime next year. Probably start streaming a little bit of each of the games.
Yeah, you've mentioned that.
Yeah.
I think that's super cool. I might be appearing on some of those streams for the multiplayer ones, it sounds like, which I'm very excited for. It's just, I don't know, from my point of view as like an outsider looking in, it's weirdly gratifying still to see you finally complete this thing. Because like I said, it's been a decade in the making. And I don't know, is this like a challenge that other people have even attempted?
No idea. I barely looked
I think that's part of the charm of it too, is that this is just something that you came up with yourself. So.
Like I saw it. I was like looking through those. I'm like, hey, I already have like, I think I already have like 80 something like that games already. I'm like, I might as well just go for all of them.
Sure.
And I didn't think it was gonna take me this long, but I mean, here we are.
With that being said, outside the list, what else have you been playing, Jordan?
A lot, actually. So I mentioned the last time I was on that I was playing through Star Fox Zero. So I've beaten that and Star Fox Guard. I've beaten the first great Ace Attorney game, and then there's a few that I've been playing on my PC as well, being a game called Serial Cleaner, which I don't know if I mentioned this the last time. It's basically like the inverse of Hotline Miami, where you clean up after like after murders, pretty much, but you still have to avoid like the cops and everything.
Okay.
Shadow Complex Remastered, which is like an older Metroidvania. I got it for free through Epic Games Store, so I figured I wanted to give it a shot. As well as Guacamelee 2.
I didn't even know there was a Guacamelee 2.
Yeah, this is another one I got for free, but it's pretty fun. It's almost like multiverse kind of jumping between areas as well.
All right.
There's a couple of really cool like Easter eggs and like references. Like there's like basically two segments where you go into the like the Street Fighter car like segment where you have beat up the car, but it's like some dude's random car. And you look at it, you're like, all right, I'm gonna fight that thing. And like you like the first time like after the first time. If you meet him again the second time, he's like, oh, hey, like that was a good thing because like that way I can like buy a new whatever. But you just break his new car then. I very quickly went through the two Scribblenauts games on the Wii U, being Unlimited and Unmasked.
Okay.
And then I ended up dropping Zombie U and Umbrella Chronicles, the first Resident Evil light gun game.
I think Zombie U and Unlimited are both reviewed in that Nintendo Power.
I know Zombie
actually.
U is, and it's
it
funny.
Got it like a 9.0 or something.
I got a 9, yeah, and I'm like, it's not a bad game. It's just like it's very frustrating. Like whenever you die, 'cause you have to you literally go all the way back to like the safe house. And you have to go all the way back to where your zombie, like your previous person's at. Kill them, get your items back, and go on from there. And hope you don't get killed again and have to repeat the process all over.
It really does make you wonder just how bad Tank is.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it. I think I had downloaded the free one, but like I barely played it. I'm just seeing like if I can find if Unlimited is in here.
The thing I remember most from that is just that there's a lot of Nintendo stuff in that particular release.
Yeah,
like, I think Ganon's in it. And
yeah, because
Mario.
I think it was published by Nintendo if I remember correctly.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
All right. With that being said, there's some sort of news topics that I'd like to discuss with you, Jordan, and that will be the rest of the show now.
Sounds good.
Okay. You're fine with this?
I'm fine with this.
All right, that's what we're going to do then. Here we go to do it. All right. So, what is happening right now? This is a very strange transition. Switch 2 rumors are heating up. You can't really go online without seeing some new Switch 2 rumor, and I just want to go through a couple of them because I think some of them are sort of interesting. Our first rumors take us to Gamescom, which happened, last week, I think?
Yeah, like a week or two ago, something like that.
Yep. I guess, speaking on Gamescom, just in general, real quick, there were a couple neat announcements. Dark Forces, the classic Star Wars FPS, is getting a remaster.
Oh, I didn't hear about that. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. It's coming to all the major platforms.
Nice.
And especially for the people with Xboxes and PlayStation 5s, you're getting like a 120 frames per second 4K version of it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's insane.
They've remastered like all the cutscenes and everything, but on Switch we're still getting 60 FPS and it looks really nice. So that's cool. Some people played Sonic at Gamescom, and apparently it's using Sonic Mania's physics, which is
interesting.
Very cool because it's probably the best Sonic game, honestly, and I really liked how that game controlled. So that's very cool to hear. But the way the Switch 2 relates to Gamescom is that apparently it was shown to select developers and journalists behind closed doors. Nintendo did have a presence at Gamescom, and we know that they did have some sort of presentation that was not to the public because some Super Mario Bros. Wonder direct feed footage has come out of Gamescom, and it's of the same demo that's now being shown off at Nintendo Live.
Okay.
Whether or not the Switch 2 is there, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but Digital Foundry in their recent podcast did seem to imply that they heard that it was there as well, and that the things that they heard were interesting, but it still needs to be verified.
Yeah, it's all up in the air pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Very interesting if true. We could be seeing potentially a Switch 2 announcement maybe sooner than later. This sort of is interesting as well because there's been rumors of new Smash Brothers content, and in the midst of this, we've had Amiibo restocks, and these restocks remove any reference to the Nintendo Switch on the back.
I did hear about this.
It's interesting, and I'm not sure if this is just human brains making connections that aren't there,
Right.
or what it is, but I see it as one of two possibilities, basically. It's like we're getting the packaging ready, so when the Switch 2 launches, we don't have to continue to make like different variations.
Right.
It could just be a cost-cutting measure, though.
Yeah.
Because in addition to removing the hardware specifications on the back, it's also just a plain generic like logo now.
Yeah.
So they don't have to print an individual one for Kirby or
Yeah.
Mario or whatever the different series. You can just slap this on the back of it,
Right.
and I imagine that that's cheaper.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where we're like beginning to get all these coincidental little morsels of
Information.
information, I guess, to line up with each other. And then after all this, we have this leak from, I guess, a supposedly well-known leaker named I'm a Hero 2, who has shared some supposed information about the Switch 2. Now, initially this story was kind of pick up and run by like the worst websites ever, like your Game Rant,
Of course.
your comicbook.com, which is definitely one of the worst ones. They're always like...
They're like, I even read them sometimes and they're just bad.
They're terrible. They're like, anytime that guy Zippo like makes up a thing, they like run it as an article, and it's ridiculous. But then some like real websites that are a little bit, less on the scummy side started sharing it. So I don't know if there's actually some validity to this, but I guess outside of the Switch stuff, he said that there's a new Sonic coming, a new Jet Set Radio game, a new Comic Zone, which is like an insane deep cut.
Yeah.
PS5 Pro dev kits, which, oh my god, the PS5 Pro is like the funniest thing to me.
The PS5 in general has been it's been a mess.
Oh boy, this current gen, what a situation we're in.
Yay.
But then with the Switch 2, he said it's backwards compatible, which is believable enough. That it'll have a new cartridge design, and I'm thinking like 3DS kind of style.
Yeah.
A new camera feature, which again, believable enough that they would slap a camera on this thing. This is where I stop believing this, and I think people need to like take this all with a grain of salt and probably ignore this man. FF7 Remake coming to it, and it looks like a PS5 game. No way in a million years will the new Switch have PS5 capable graphics.
Yeah, I don't believe it, unfortunately, but I don't believe it.
I mean, it just seems impossible.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, and it's out of character for Nintendo, who likes to be about a generation behind whatever's happening, in my opinion. And I am a professional analyst and expert on video games. The best we can expect is somewhere between PS4 and PS4 Pro capabilities. Maybe a little bit better than the Steam Deck. There are like competing devices to the Steam Deck, which can outperform it. Like, I know Digital Foundry's reviewed the Asus ROG Ally and the Neo line of devices.
Yeah, there's a few out there,
and I think we could maybe see something more in line with those sort of devices, not a portable PS5.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen.
It's literally.
I mean,
it just will not happen.
I mean, Sony themselves can't even do that. So.
Yeah, they're the what's it called? The PlayStation Portal.
Yeah,
They're it's not even cloud streaming. It's like it's a Wii U gamepad, essentially.
Literally.
I guess really the question now is when we're going to see it, because these, even if they're not true, when rumors start to really swirl like this, it's usually indicative that something's about to drop.
Right.
You know, you could try to pick through which ones are true, which ones are false, but the point is that something's about to happen regardless. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if we could see that in a potential September Nintendo Direct. There was kind of like a wrench thrown into all this because we got this Mario Wonder Direct, which I want to talk about.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll be seeing Switch 2 soon. I would definitely like to see it, and then we can stop talking about rumors and start talking about what this device actually is. But
I mean, maybe they'll release it in March. It's kind of like to to do like kind of like 7 years after the Switch. It's like, oh hey, here's the next one.
I mean, if they wanted to release it in March, I think now would be a very good time to reveal it. Any other thoughts about the Switch 2, Jordan?
I really want it to be backwards compatible. That's kind of my main.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest want still. I'm also as much as I love talking about like Switch 2 speculation, it gets tiring after a while. Just show us the thing, and we can stop needlessly speculating. All right. Moving on, the other big thing we want to talk about is the Super Mario Bros. Wonder Direct, which we got at the very last minute, last day of August. Mm-hmm. So we'll just go through, I guess, point by point, and if we have anything to say, we will say it, and if we don't have anything to say, we'll have some dead air that I will edit out and post. So for starters, the story, it seems a bit more creative than past traditional 2D Marios.
Whole new kingdom.
Whole new kingdom. They got this Bowser becoming a castle. That has not happened to my knowledge previously. I don't think he ever became a sentient castle before. That doesn't sound like something that happened. But something that I thought was a little bit unnecessary is how they insist on like presenting the story in like 2D because the rest of the game's in 2D.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they could have done it where it was like an actual cinematic or something, a la cutscenes in Mario Odyssey or something. Yeah. Maybe that's unrealistic to want, but I think that would have been cool.
Yeah.
We were shown that there are 7 areas in the game. I'm assuming there's going to be like bonus worlds and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm assuming like Bowser, the Lake House is probably going to be the 8th one.
I agree, yeah. Here's what I'm sort of thinking. They're all sort of based on existing Mario archetypes. Yeah. But they're given this nice fresh coat of paint. So for example, the first is like a grass area, but the hills in the background are not your standard ones they've been reusing since Mario 3. And the mountains are not the standard ones they've been reusing since Mario World. They're like totally unique new designs, and that is just nice. It's like ultimately minor to doesn't serve a gameplay purpose, but it's just something visually new, which is. And
it also serves to show like, hey, this really is not the Mushroom Kingdom anymore.
Yes, that's which is important. Yeah. Then we get to see a little bit of the snow area, which starts out somewhat like generic, but it develops into this cool like cotton candy, like Magicant from Earthbound Zero type zone. Or Earthbound Beginnings. Yeah. I think that's really cool. Whenever it reminds me exactly of Magicant, actually, and I wonder if that was an inspiration, possibly. It's possible.
Yeah, hopefully.
There's Shining Falls, which is, I guess, reminiscent of like the various cave areas from previous Mario games, but they decided let's like swap the color palette like entirely. You know, usually in Mario, caves are like blue with this pristine blue water. These, it's like drenched in yellow, and the water looks like methane. Like, so I don't know. It's unique. Again, it's like you don't have to do much to make Mario feel just brand new because they've been doing the same thing for so long.
Right. So it's easy to be like, oh hey, let's switch it up a little bit. But then everyone's like, wait, what is this? This is what I'm used to.
Let's just make it yellow. Oh my god, what an innovation!
Brand new.
Same thing with the desert. You know, like they. Instead of your yellows and browns that kind of dominate older games, it's really like white, silver, gold. Yeah. It makes it look totally new despite it just being another desert area. The Mushroom Forest was kind of cool looking. It reminded me a little bit of the level everyone talks about from New Super Mario Bros. U, the Van Gogh level, which is like the one level that game has. It's like interesting. Yeah. And so that's kind of cool that they have a whole world that sort of leans kind of into that aesthetic, just a little bit. I don't know if that's sort of what they were going for there or not, but that's the vibe I got. The only two that looked somewhat underwhelming to me were the underwater and lava areas, which do sort of just look like standard Mario, like New Super Mario Brothers underwater and lava things. But I did think in the lava zone when you like pick up water pots and throw them to create ground that you can stand on. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a gameplay thing, though. So it will remain to be seen how different all these actually feel when we play the game. But aesthetically, I'm liking what I'm seeing. We got the talking flowers. Jordan, how do you feel about the talking flowers?
Pretty interesting. I'm worried they might get a little too much.
Well, this is why I'm so glad that we found out after the direct that they are mutable.
Oh, are they?
And I am going to do that.
That's fair.
I think I like that there's like these little talking guys, and it's kind of weird and strange that we've never seen something like that before. But I think the voice is a little bit grating.
That's fair. Yeah.
So I gotta mute it. But props to Nintendo for trying to have like, I don't know, spoken word dialogue be part of 2D Mario. I guess.
Yeah.
That character roster is kind of interesting. It's really big. What is it, like 9 or 10 playable characters?
Something like that.
They removed like the special attributes from like Luigi and Peach, which is kind of unfortunate, but I get why you'd want to do that. You don't want people fighting over like, oh, I want the character that has that part.
Yeah. That way everyone's kind of the same, but it's kind of like a different flavor, basically.
Exactly. I think it makes sense, but I do kind of miss those old Mario 2 inspired elements. You've also got Yoshi, who does have a different moveset, but that's like an easy mode.
Basically.
And I wonder if this means that Yoshi does not appear in the like normal game, or if he's just a multiplayer.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering the same thing.
Did you see Yoshi's face when he ate that guy?
I think so. It
was weird.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
It reminded me of like some of the cursed beta Yoshi graphics.
maybe it's a reference to that.
I didn't like that. They should patch that day one patch to fix Yoshi's face.
It's the only patch. Like you look at the patch notes, it's the only thing. It's like it just says fix Yoshi's face.
Well, it would say improve the gameplay experience, but that would be the only thing that was different. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool that there's so many different options this time. That there's Toadette and Peach and Daisy. Like that's a little surprising.
Yeah, it'll be the first time Daisy's playable in a platforming Mario game.
Yeah, that's wild that it took this long, but it's pretty cool. You get 2 flavors of Toad still. I thought that one of them would have gotten the axe, but no, they brought back blue and yellow Toad.
No, they put their foot down on that. They're like, okay, we need both of them.
And then you got Nabbit as well, who I'm not crazy about Nabbit, but I think
Nabbit's another like one of the easy
characters.
Ones,
yeah. I think that's good to have, just because it's not as easy as Yoshi, but it's still like it's like a character that has the regular Mario moveset, but is also an easy mode. So it's good to have it in there. That's a nice option. Moving on, the enemies. We got so many new enemies, and I think the interesting part is that a lot of them are based around like totally new like archetypes.
Yeah.
You know, like I wrote down 3 here. You got like the tall mushroom guys. Like we've had tall enemies before, like Pokey, but their whole thing is that you can't touch them at all.
Right.
These guys are like super tall, but you still have to jump on their head, which is a surprisingly different kind of enemy than we've seen before. There's the Mumsies, who are also really tall, but you like grab onto them and pull them apart.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I've never seen anything like that in 2D Mario. And then this guy, I don't know if he's that unique, but I just liked him. He's Ma.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the giant mouth.
He's got like a giant mouth. I just like that guy.
He's silly. I like him.
He kind of reminds me of one of my favorite recent Pokemon designs, Clodsire.
Okay,
He's got a bit of a Clodsire vibe, so I'm down with that. Yeah, I'm really liking what we're seeing with the new enemies. A lot of unique new guys who are just brand new to the Mario series. That's super cool. It's also rare.
I think it's the first time in a long time we've had like this many new enemies.
Oh, for sure. Especially ones that are genuinely unique. It remains to be seen how long they'll stick around in the series, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Powerups. We got a little bit more on the elephant. I like Elephant Mario. I think some of the other elephants are a little grotesque. I don't know if I like Peach or Daisy elephant. They're a little bit weird. The Toad elephants are also like straddling the line between like kind of like cute and like I don't like this one bit.
I think just the entire thing will have to like grow on me for a while. Yeah. So.
Oh, for sure. Yep. They did introduce one new mechanic that comes to mind, is that you can like store water in Mario's trunk and use that to uncover secrets. Nintendo Live's going on, and they had a Treehouse Live for Mario Wonder at it, and we saw that if you store water in Mario's trunk and get to the end of the level, you like bloom the flower heads of the new guys, the new toad guys. They're called poplins.
Interesting.
And I don't know exactly what that'll do, but maybe that has to do with some of the various secrets in the game.
Maybe, yeah.
So we'll have to see. We also got introduced to the bubble form. This is like easily my power-up that I'm most excited about. Because it opens up platforming opportunities very similar to Cappy from Odyssey, and I thought the Cappy was just so fun. Like, that's what makes that game so great, is that you just have this extra level of expression in how you platform. And this sort of serves a similar-ish purpose. It's cool when the power-ups don't just, kill enemy.
Yeah.
It's something else.
It's like, oh, hey, you throw it out, you can, like, jump off of it to get to higher platforms.
Exactly. And it doesn't totally break the game like the cape did in Mario World, where okay, I'm just going to fly over the entire level now. This is probably the best movement modifying power-up we've ever seen in Mario, in my opinion. We also got the drill, and I think this will be really cool for the secrets they hide, where you need a drill to access the secret. But I do wonder, it's just a little bit too broken. They show that segment where he burrows underground and just bypasses an entire row of spinies or whatever.
Right.
I'm like, it's just cheating.
Yeah, like that's
a little bit cheap.
They're just kind of like this. Just fight them.
Yeah.
Like, you just go through, or just jump over them or something.
You wonder if like how different that is than the cape situation, where now I'm just traveling underneath the whole level.
Yeah.
What I did like about it though a lot was giving you like a spike on your head so you can jump into enemies to kill them.
Or like if they're falling down on you, you have an immediate like shield basically.
Right. I think that's really cool. I think that's maybe what they should have focused on more. But I also understand the going down on the ground thing is fun to hide secrets. So that one's interesting. Moving along, the wonder effects. This is like what the game is about. This is what's going to make Mario Wonder a true evolution of Mario, and I just wanted to highlight a couple of the most interesting ones to me. The one where you are now walking on the background.
Yeah.
That is wild, and is one that I legitimately never would have even thought of. It's sort of reminiscent. They've had like top-down levels in the like 3D Land. I think had like a top-down Zelda-inspired level.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm gonna put a prediction out there now, everybody. I think one of the Wonder power-ups will turn you into an 8-bit Link.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And you will explore some Zelda-ish area. I don't know where I was going with that, other than mentioning that I think that's going to happen. Yeah. And please check this video. make a note of this moment in the video, because
timestamp it down below. We'll
exactly.
We'll come back to it.
Other effects, where you turn into a Goomba, that's fun.
Yeah.
Odyssey, you could do that in Odyssey, but I don't know. It's just fun to become a Goomba, so I'm down with that. And then the one that I thought was especially interesting was actually the Balloon Mario. Because that's obviously reminiscent of the P-Balloon from Super Mario World.
Right.
And the thing about, like, the P-Balloon, it's a power-up, but it's really only meant for that one section. It's not like a power-up in a traditional sense, really. It's not meant to be taken out of the level. You're not meant to use it elsewhere in the level. So I think just basing, like, saying, okay, here's a dedicated challenge. We're giving you this thing just for this challenge. It's a much better context for these kind of power-ups that aren't meant to travel with you.
Right.
So, yeah, looking cool. I'm excited to see what other ones they show off. Any thoughts about the Wonder Effects, Jordan?
I think they're cool. I definitely want to see if they have any that don't fit those molds, kind of branching out.
Yes.
Yeah, what other unique things.
Totally different ideas they have for these. I agree.
Right.
This is pretty surprising. So, actually, I didn't get to watch the Direct live. Instead, I was able to read, I think, Nintendo Life's live blog of it.
Okay.
And for this next part, they said, Paper Mario in my 2D Mario? Oh, I can't believe it. Or something like that. And I'm like, Paper Mario's in the game?
Hold on.
And then I found out they're referring to the badges.
Oh, yeah.
Which, a little less exciting than, just straight up Paper Mario being in it. But this was kind of interesting. I think the big highlights are the grappling hook one and the dolphin kick ability, which may finally make underwater levels fun to play.
Right.
We'll have to see. But the grappling hook especially is I'm excited to see how that might be used in speedruns and just unique ways to get through levels using this thing. It seems like such a huge mechanic to be sort of the side content.
Right.
But it is. I also really dig the wall jump climb badge. The way that you can alter Mario's movement, it just feels surreal.
Yeah, it's also interesting where you can change them mid-level, but only if you die.
Yeah, that's true too. It was bold of them to make it so you have to use just one per level.
Yeah.
I think I actually read an interview where maybe it was Tezuka said that originally that you were going to be able to equip multiple badges, and they're like, no.
Yeah,
I think maybe making it more focused would be better, and I commend them for that.
I think 2 would have been at least maybe 2 max.
Yeah.
But I can respect them only sticking with just one, though.
Yeah. I'm interested to see which ones we didn't see yet, because there's a few that were grayed out that we don't know about yet. I can only imagine what they might be. Right, honestly, they're surprising me with just about everything they do, so... I also like that they have the Mario 2 jump, but that's as a badge now.
Right.
So that's kind of fun. The last big thing that they talked about, I mean, they talked about that Switch OLED model, but who gives a shit about that, really? Is the online. A lot of people are saying, I'm not a Dark Souls person, but I hear that it's inspired by Dark Souls.
From what I've heard, it's basically the same idea where, you can have them, be running around in your world while you're playing, but, not directly interact with them.
I'm going to be honest here. And this is not a popular opinion right now. I love this. I do not like multiplayer in the new Super Mario Brothers style of it's the screen gets crowded, people are jumping on each other. It's not fun. You got to wait for people to catch up with you. This seems to create a system where you're playing with your friends, you're playing through the game, you're both experiencing the game world and the levels and stuff.
Right.
But you're not getting in each other's way.
Right.
You get to take it at your pace. And they still have things in there which are more directed at a multiplayer focus, like the races you can do on levels, which is super cool.
Right, as well as the, what are they called? The billboard type things?
Standees.
Standees,
yeah. Where you can revive people and set up, waypoints almost. I think that stuff's cool. So I'm actually all about this. I think that a traditional multiplayer works better in something like 3D World where there's more space to run around. In a 2D game, I think it's just garbage.
Though they still have the standard multiplayer with co-op though.
They do for local co-op, which makes me think. And actually saw they showed a little bit on Nintendo Live. I don't even know if it was intentional of the online, and it does look laggy already, and that's before they've brought it on to the rest of the world. Yeah. So that's not a great sign.
That's a worrying sign.
It is interesting, right? Because even Super Mario Maker 2 had traditional online, like what I think a lot of people want, but this one doesn't. And you would think that'd be more complicated to get running.
Yeah.
I just think this is a better idea in general. It almost looked like, and don't quote me, but it almost looked like rollback netcode.
Okay.
Which maybe that would be easier to implement on this. I don't know. Interesting, though. Overall, I give it a thumbs up because I would not play it the other way anyway.
Right.
So maybe this mode will get some use out of me. I don't know. Okay. One thing, though. We're at the end. One thing that was not brought up that we expected would be there. I guess you might say that we need to address the voice acting situation.
Oh, yeah.
Which
I thought you said elephant in the room.
Why would I say that?
Don't look at me like that.
What did you think I was going to say?
Continue on. As I said, I thought you were going to say the elephant in the room.
Why would I say that?
That's a phrase. It's a common statement.
Okay, well, I was just talking about the voice acting. Charles Martinet, we know, is not playing Mario anymore.
Right.
And I don't know, I thought that we would maybe get an idea of who it is now in this Direct. I gotta say, I'm getting anxiety, Nintendo. Please just tell us who's doing it, because my brain will not let the idea go that they are replacing him with an AI Mario.
Did we really hear much of Mario, him talking in this new Direct?
Just a little, very little bit. And there's some Direct feed footage out there. I think it's the Gamescom stuff, which has a few different voice clips that we hadn't heard before. I don't know, he sounds different-ish, but I could not tell during the initial Direct.
Yeah.
I know other people were right on that. I remember I told you about it, actually. Yeah. We were both like, no way. It's
we were talking about it. We're like, we did not believe that it was someone new.
But it is not him, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just keep on worrying about the AI idea. I don't like it. It creeps me out. It's creepy.
Yeah, I don't think they would do that, but also give me the benefit of the doubt anyways.
The thing is that there was supposed to be a video of Miyamoto and Martinet, and I'm just a little bit surprised that it didn't go out before this.
Right.
And that we haven't seen it yet still. So maybe by the time Nintendo Live's over, I think that ends on think that ends tomorrow.
Okay.
Maybe we'll see it then, but it sort of remains to be seen.
Right.
Any final thoughts about Super Mario Brothers Wonder? I think it looks great.
Mm-hmm. I kind of wish we had an actual demo for us here at home.
Oh, me too, man. Me too. I kept on thinking about that while I was watching. I'd eventually had to stop watching.
Yeah.
Like, I can't look at any more of this. I just really want to play
Maybe
it.
they'll put it up like after Nintendo Live is done.
I don't think they will for one reason. I wish they would.
Yeah.
But the one reason is I think they're worried about data mining.
That's true.
And, it's still over a month away.
Right.
And I don't think they want all that stuff out there. I really would like to play it, though.
Yeah.
And I think the best middle ground here, which I don't think they'll do either, but the best middle ground would be your kiosks at GameStops and Walmarts get the demo. Unlikely still, but that'd be cool. It's been a long time since I've had a reason to check out a Nintendo kiosk.
I think the other interesting thing they could do, which they also probably wouldn't do, is like a curated like segment, not really segment, but like a specific like build for demos. That's not like indicative of the final game, or like even any levels from the main game, which is kind of like an idea of like how the movement plays and everything.
Right. Some other game did that recently. I'm trying to. Maybe not even recently. Whenever I say recently, I mean between yesterday and 10 years ago.
Yeah, so sometime within the past decade is recent.
Yeah. But I did see a video that Sakurai put out. He's got his YouTube channel where he talks about what a pain it is to produce demos, even though they're really good tools of getting people interested in your game. Anyway, I think that wraps it up for us then. Let's move on to the viewer question.
Yes.
All right, here we go. We got a question from Rosalina Fan 42069. They want to know, what character would we most like to see as a playable character in Super Mario Brothers Wonder? Mine is Rosalina, they say. All right.
Okay.
Wow, this is a real interesting question because there's so many classic characters that we could choose from. I think Waluigi and Wario are like the easy ones.
Yeah, that's easy mode, baby mode. Let's pick something much more like out of left field.
Going along with the kind of strange weirdness of Mario Wonder, I'm going to go with Birdo. I want Birdo as a playable character.
That'd be interesting.
We've got Yoshi, but maybe Birdo, and having a projectile move just constantly on your character. It'd be one of the easy characters, I guess, but that'd be something different and unique.
Mine is not really easy mode, but I want to see Falfa come back again.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe some sort of like, I don't know, maybe kind of like a quote-unquote like invader from the Bean Kingdom. like undercover, I guess, in a way.
I mean, now that we're like branching out of the Mushroom Kingdom with these games, maybe we can revisit the Bean Kingdom in a I don't know, 2D or 3D Mario. I don't know. That'd be really cool. I love that world.
Yeah,
I wish we could go back.
I've been wanting to go back to Bean ever since we first went there back in Superstar Saga.
Yeah. All right, Jordan. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for joining me on the show.
As always.
We'll hopefully be back again in 2 weeks. If not, we'll do another stopgap episode. But the show will go on.
It must go on.
It must go on. So until then, see ya.
Bye.